With that being said, we're going to go to Mike Skinner.
Yes, sir. Hello, fellas. We are
Hello.
going to start off right off the get-go. Here's this Gallup poll. They've been connected, or they've been doing research from this since 1937, and this is the first time in 80 years that 53% of the American adults are not affiliated with any church, synagogue, or mosque. And I thought that was interesting, and it broke it down even a little bit more. And I want to get you guys' opinion on this. They're saying 2/3 of the traditionalists still belong to a church. And again, it's a mosque, a church, a synagogue. And the traditionalists are those that are born before 1946. Baby boomers are at 58% of those belong to the church. Gen Xers right at 50-50. And here's a big shocker with the way today is going. Millennials, 30% of the millennials belong to a church.
Here's my shock face.
So my question is to you, are you shocked at this? And my point is, get off your computers, get off your phones, and go see go get some churching, for God's sakes.
Your boys use some churching up. Go down there.
With that being said,
Cleophas.
Let's let Fish, because with you being a pastor, Keith, let's let you go last. But let's see what Fish has to say about this. I thought it was interesting. There's not a lot going on, but this really struck my mind, and I would really like to hear you guys' opinion on this.
Okay.
Well, it's not a shock. I mean, it's I don't know. I mean, for my and I grew up in my mom was very devout Christian. She still is. I mean, she goes now during the pandemic, I mean, she'll at least will listen to sermons on TV or what have you, but she's been more comfortable to get back to church recently. But mom took me to church every Sunday as a kid, so it's something I grew up with, and it was fine. And honestly, for me, I think it was as simple as I got older, I just got tired of getting. I mean, just to be honest, I got tired of getting up on Sunday mornings. I was tired. You know what I'm saying? It was just as a teenager and stuff and young teen, mom gave me, and I appreciate mom as well. Mom gave me a choice when she felt I was old enough to say, do you want to go or not go? Dad didn't go. And again, same deal. I think it was just, he just was not overly religious, and he slept in and stuff like that. So that was it. And then that's just kind of how I grew up from there. So I have beliefs, all of that. It was just I don't know if we call it laziness or inconvenience or whatever that it is. And, my daughter didn't really grow up around it either. We never made her go either. So it was something that she wanted to do. We would have certainly done that. But, so she's kind of in the same, I guess, mindset, not of sleeping in per se, but of just her. I mean, she has beliefs, spiritual. You hear that? I guess that's a common phrase. I have I'm a spiritual person. I'm not necessarily overly religious and stuff like that. So that's kind of where I'm at. But yeah, I think honestly, it's just younger generations that just take church. And Mike, again, it's just it's not necessarily church. It's just to get people to go somewhere and spend time and focus on something, almost anything. Just takes, everybody's so stretched thin, everybody's busy, everybody's got tons of stuff, everybody's so distracted with all the social media and crap like that. There's so many things to do just to get people pinned down and say, I'm going to make an effort to go and invest time into something. I think it's just more challenging these days. So that, to me, that's probably a factor while some of the younger people's just not going. Not necessarily about religion, but that's me. So that's just my take on it. So
to piggyback that before you start, Porter, is we talk a lot about millennials and the younger kids have no social skills. And this goes right along, I think, along with that as well. It takes social skills to go and sit into a church and talk to the person next to you or in front of you, or talk to the pastor. And these kids today don't have the social skills unless they got a phone in front of them.
Yeah.
Or they're sitting in front of a computer. So with that being said.
All right. Well said. Before I address that question, I want to address Fisher here personally. First thing I want to say is I really appreciate your candor in answering that question. That meant a lot. The second thing I want to say is I just want to tell you this as a friend from afar. I have seen a lot of growth in you in that regard, and I just wanted to say that to you publicly on the show. Okay, so I kind of agree with Fish in a way that is not shocked. I was surprised how low the numbers were, but I wasn't shocked, especially when you told me the millennial uh, percentage. And the reason being is there's a lot of things that you guys were kind of hitting on that are part of the problem. Number one, there's just been a decline, period. We've seen so much more anger in the world lately. People just angry, and all these reasons are why they don't go to church. Fish hit on some, or whatever. The duck, I think, is a part of that. Um, let's not. I don't get Fish make the comment about religion. I don't get into religion. I don't believe in religion. Religion is a man-made construct. I believe in people having a personal relationship with God. But we're talking about all churches. Some people have some affiliation with. With that being said, taking God out of the equation, I think people don't understand what you were talking about, Skinner, the things that are learned in church, the social skills. It's another place where kids are taught how to be quiet, what quiet moments mean, when it's time to be loud, play, when it's time to listen. All these skills are learned inside of a church. The interactions, those things are very important. Also, technology has been a bad part of it. A lot of people are getting their churching via the internet or television or things like that, and they think that that's okay. We talked about this in my church. There's a scripture that says, "Don't forsake, don't forget, don't forsake to assemble yourselves together." It's fine to watch programs on TV or whatever, but like Fisher said, his mom was longing to get back to the church. There's no replacement for that. The fellowship, how we come together, things of that nature. And I think the millennials is part of the reason they're the way they are now, is because they don't have that part in their life. And I think it's an important part that helps you grow as an adult, because a lot of things happen that you learn in church that you're not going to get anywhere else. Welfare started in the church, okay? That's where it started at. The church was an integral part of helping people in the neighborhood. We still used to get calls all the time in my church. Are you helping people for Christmas? Are you doing this? Are you doing that? We used to feed people every Friday, and my mom would not get, and we're not knocking anybody, but she refused to get food from the food bank or any of that stuff. All the ladies stayed up all night cooking homemade food. I mean, the line used to be out the door when word got around. The best food in town, She's like, if I ain't going to eat it, they ain't going to eat it. But the things we learned there, we'd see people coming in freezing. We'd leave and run to the store and buy them hats and gloves and things like that. These are things that you learn, and the kids saw, and they learned it inside the church too. So it's just sad to hear that, but there will be a revival in this country. Trust me. One more disaster, they'll be knocking the doors down.
Right. Well, let's hope. And like I said, I'm not a real religious person either. I went to church as a kid all the way through high school. Went to Sherwood Park Baptist Church over there in Carnegie and Akron, and absolutely loved it. Have friends that I still talk to today. Their parents, I see them out, and when I'm in Kenmore, I see them at places there, and they still talk to me as if I'm still 16, 17, 18 years old. So it's a pretty neat thing. I'm not active in the church. I still believe in prayer. I still believe in the Word of God. But my personal belief is I don't have to step into a church to know that I'm going somewhere later in life. I know where I'm going. I know God's right there behind me.
And I don't want to get into a debate, but that is the big mistake everybody makes. That's
I get
your
that.
Belief, but that's not what the Word of God says. Okay,
I understand why you say that, and I think once life slows down, me with us with the 8 kids and the 5 grandkids, time has gotten away from us, and I'm waiting for time to slow down a little bit.
If you was in church, boy, you wouldn't have all
this. Stop it. But I am waiting. I would like to have time slow down so I can go and interact with people again, because certainly that is missed. So All right. My next topic here, and I just wanted to breaking news kind of thing that the cargo ship Evergreen freed itself from the banks of the Suez Canal today after 5 days of being stuck. What could have very well been a huge disaster was averted, thankfully. And time will tell to see how much of an impact this is going to be especially over in Europe with the goods, because they're saying there's 200 vessels on both the north and south side of that ship that have been stuck for the 5 days trying to get through, and they can't just back out and go around, because they were saying there was other ships that were being averted around the tip of South Africa, but that's another 7 to 10 days travel time. That's why they take the Suez Canal, because it cuts like 6 days of travel time off. So
that's why it was built.
So it's a story that me and Marcy have kind of kept up with since it broke. I think it was Thursday that it happened, and we're just in awe of how that all happened. I'm curious to see a video, and I want to find it. Video of actually watching that thing come away from it and start heading out again. I'm sure it's out there. I just haven't found it yet. You guys hear about that story?
Is it out completely? I heard it.
Yes, it is moving. They're going to a lake that's attached to the canal. It's going to go through a full inspection before it can go out to its destination.
Maneuvering that thing out. I mean, I'm seeing comparisons of Keith and the colonic and trying to. Physics and
I gotcha. It don't fit. It don't fit.
Couple tugboats in there trying to get things moving around.
Why did I tell you guys that?
If we lift this up here, we turn this one this way.
All right, okay, we get it. And Mikey Jr., you add any sound effects or any stuff, so help me, I'm coming to Seattle.
We're gonna call you the canal.
Oh, no.
The Suez Canal or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, because you can't get a ship through there either.
That's right.
Okay.
Anyways, all right, that's good.
I don't know too much about it. I just know that the implications from this are going to reach far for a long time. I know Egypt is already talking about seeking compensation for a long time, and there's going to be all sorts of things happen from this. So I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it, man. It's just crazy. It reminds me of the Valdez, when the oil tanker, when it hit, and we're still
investigate. They'll investigate if it's a human. They say there's some human error, a sandstorm/human error or something like that. So
I guess
they'll look into it.
They said the sandstorm was pretty bad, but it could have been avoided, as I'm also hearing. So be curious to see what happens
down the road, right?
Yep.
So okay, I got one last thing that I want to pose a question to you. Back in 1993-94, do you remember what happened back then?
The OJ trial.
The OJ trial, absolutely correct. And if you recall that trial was on the air 24/7 almost.
It was a show, wasn't a trial. It was a show.
It was a show. Let's fast forward to March 29th, 2021. And what's going on today?
Well, we got the Greg Lloyd murder trial.
For Derek Chauvin, I believe is his
officer,
name.
Yes.
His murder trials.
George Floyd, right? George Floyd.
I'm sorry. Yes, thank you.
You think of the Steelers.
Yes.
I got you. I got one question for you, and I know it's a heavy one, and I would like to know you guys' opinion on this, is should this trial be televised? Is it going to turn into a freaking show just as the OJ trial did some 30 years ago?
Okay. I'm going to say absolutely not. Now, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how it could not be in the voyeuristic world we live in, internet, blah, 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 blah. But I just wish that they wouldn't. Us being Generation Xers, Gen Xers, we remember the OJ trial very well. It was something that galvanized the country in ways that worked good for the most part in the beginning. And I remember the comment was made, this trial is going to set black and white relationships back 30 years. At the moment that I heard that statement, I was with you guys all know JT, guitarist, marvelous singer.
Yep.
And we were in the midst of writing the Skillet Johnson album. And that's when I wrote the song, Don't Tell Me It's Rain. And the opening line says, if it's okay to say OJ paid his way out of no way, it makes it hard to tell a child it's justice is for all when they watch a murder trial going wild. They call it Generation X, but they are the next, and it's our job to make it best. First is jail without bail. Now show me the money. And I looked at, when they said that statement, I looked at JT, and for those you don't know, he's Caucasian. And I said, Jay, what does that trial have to do with you and me? You know, I hate that they made that statement, but this is what sells papers. This is what sells ratings. Yep. And I'm afraid right now with what we've had going on in this country, especially racially, especially as far as the police are concerned in the last 2 years, that somebody's got a lighter and right next to the fuse and are just waiting for an innocent verdict. And all you know what's going to break loose. So I really wish this wasn't on TV because it's going to help sensationalize what's going on. Not so much the verdict, but all the little crap in between, them making more racial overtones out of it than need to be, pitting one against the other one, because that's what the media does. That's how they make money. They don't want to see us come together. They don't report stories like that. They report stories like black person killed by white person, blah, 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 blah. And then they want to make money. They hardly ever report black person kills white person because that's not going to make money. So I wish it wasn't on TV. I'm sitting here with two of my dearest friends in the world whom I trust implicitly. Our skin tones might look different, but it does not matter. We speak openly. You respect me, I respect you, and that's all that matters, in my opinion.
Yeah. So your question, should it be on television? You say no.
I say no.
Yeah. I agree with you. I think that the OJ thing at the time was such a phenomenon. It really was just him being a famous sports hero actor, you know. So I think that was just. But you're right. It certainly did not help race relations back then. It was entertaining. It seemed like for a minute, and all of a sudden, when you get into it's like the real deal of, is this guy going to be found guilty or not? It was quite the uproar when he was found not guilty, you know. So
yeah.
So I'm with you. I mean, I don't think I don't think it's televised. I think it's, you know, got more stuff brewing here, unfortunately. So I don't know. I don't know what good would come out of it, having it on television. Because you're right. They're going to have to fill time with commentary and everything else around it. I just don't see the value in all of that.
And I'm sorry, I made a terrible mistake here. Let me correct myself, Skinner. It wasn't the riots from the OJ trial. I'm thinking of the Can We All Just Get Along?
Yes.
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
No, yep. You're right. Yeah, good question. Well, yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I don't think this should be on there. Yes, it's a hot topic. It's a hot button. It's media today, newspapers, tabloids. They're looking to make freaking money, and what they're not understanding, they have those blinders on, and all they see is dollar signs.
Yes,
they don't look at the big picture and see what the heck is this doing to our world. What is this doing for our kids and our grandkids? And I say it time and time again, I feel sorry for my grandkids when they're going to be my age, because I have no idea what this world is going to look like when they're our age.
There's freedom of speech, but there's no responsibility of speech.
Oh, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
So, you know, the Rodney King thing got away from us. The OJ thing became a farce. The judge was playing to the cameras. The attorneys, you know, if it doesn't fit, you must acquit. You know, giving out slogans. What is this? A commercial? You know, things of that nature. But you know, divide and conquer. The media understands this. The government understands this. Keep them separated. Keep them fighting. and whatever.
It's a shame. That's all I can say. It is a shame. So
good stuff, Skinner.
that's what I have for today,